Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how I found out I was pregnant, how my husband and our families reacted, and all of my symptoms up until this point. So if you're new here, my husband and I are expecting our first child on December 15th of this year, and we are super excited. So I wanted to just share with you guys all of my symptoms and how I've been feeling and all of that up until now. I am currently 22 weeks pregnant and I am feeling pretty well so far. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. So April 12th of this year, which happened to be Easter Day, I woke up and something just told me to take a test. I hadn't mentioned it to my husband or anything. I was just taking a test just to see. I did not have any symptoms at that point. I was just a few days late and I thought I might just better take a test. So that morning we had a Zoom call with family because I was actually on quarantine. I had been exposed to a few cases, so I was actually having to self-isolate from Will as well. So at that time I was working from home and I was sleeping in the living room away from him just to protect him. But I woke up that morning and I went and took a test, and it was very clear that it was positive. It wasn't even through testing before it showed a positive. So I did not have to wait the 3 minutes, and I took a few tests just to be sure. And to be honest, I was in complete shock. We had been trying for a few months, and we decided that because of coronavirus, we were just going to take a break and kind of see where the virus went. But by that point, I was already pregnant and we just didn't know yet. So, like I said, it was complete shock to me. I just stared at myself in the mirror for a minute and I'm just like, holy moly, like this is really happening. I honestly couldn't believe it. So I was in so much shock. Will was actually eating some cereal for breakfast and I just came out and told him, and he was shocked. Like, I've always had this plan that I wanted to have a cute way of announcing that I'm pregnant and all of this, and none of that happened because I was in complete shock and I knew that he would be able to tell that something was up. So I just went ahead and told him, and I just told him while he was eating cereal, and we were both so excited. We could not believe it. So once I told Will, I only had like 30 or 45 minutes to compose myself and get my thoughts together and try to act somewhat normal, because I had to get on this Zoom call with all of my family who obviously can tell when something is up. So I was just trying to act normal, and luckily it was fine. Nobody picked up on it. And because it is our first child, we weren't 100% sure because I only had 2 tests here. So I had to wait for Will to go to the store the next day to get some more tests to even be sure. So I didn't want them to have any clue at that time that I was expecting, and I really didn't feel pregnant. So I just wanted to hold off for a little while. So the next day, that Monday, I called my doctor's office and told them that I, had a positive test and that I needed to schedule an appointment. At that point, I was 4 weeks and 6 days. So I had to wait until I was 8 weeks. And I'll be honest, that was the hardest wait of my life. It's hard for me to go between appointments anyway, just because you worry when you're pregnant, making sure everything is okay, especially before you can feel baby move. But that wait for that appointment was the hardest. So I went to the doctor on May 7th, and Mother's Day was that weekend, so we were having my mom over on that Friday, and then we were having my dad and his family over on that Saturday because we were trying to keep it under the recommended number of people. So I think the 7th was on a Thursday, and we were having the first get together on that Friday. So after I went to the doctor, I was trying to print the picture so that I could get home and set up how we wanted to announce. And we actually announced, I'll share it in here, I've already shared it before, but I'll share it again. We announced with a picture, so I had to take another picture and go get that printed all before that Friday. So yeah, that Friday we told my mom, and she was just so excited. She actually started crying, and up until that point, I think I was just in so much shock that I hadn't cried yet. I didn't cry when I found out. I almost cried at the doctor, but I didn't. But once we told her and she started crying, I just lost it. But she was super excited. She had no idea. And then the next day we told my dad and stepmom, and then Will's parents and sisters, and none of them had a clue either. My dad was kind of iffy, like on the fence about, well, maybe we thought, but we didn't know for sure. So we surprised all of them, and Will actually works with his dad. So his mom thought that his dad knew this entire time, which he didn't. So she was just like, you knew this entire time, but he didn't. So yeah, they were all super excited. And at that point, like I said, I was just 8 weeks along. And so we asked them not to say anything, which none of them did. And we actually held off until we told friends as well. Just because we just wanted to keep it pretty private for a little while. And it was actually really hard because I, at the time, worked with one of my best friends, and we actually shared an office. So keeping the morning sickness and the fatigue and all of that from her was so hard, but somehow I did it. So in June was when we told our friends. I was like 10 weeks, I think, almost 11, maybe 11 weeks. We told them, and at first they didn't get it, but once they did, they were just ecstatic. They couldn't believe it. And the girl that I worked with, she was just in shock. She's like, I had no idea. I can't believe that you kept it from me. So yeah, that's how we told all of our friends, and everyone was super happy. And we still kept it private until my 12-week appointment, just to make sure we were, cruising right along and everything was still going good. So yeah, that is how we told everyone. So now I'll kind of get into my first trimester symptoms, and I will say I've had a pretty easy pregnancy thus far. It really hasn't been bad. Like I said, I did not have any symptoms whatsoever when I found out. I think that's why I was in such shock. Now looking back, there were a few things that I noticed because I was extra tired, like the week that I found out, but so now looking back, I realized that maybe I had a few symptoms. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together because they weren't obvious symptoms. But around 5.5, 6 weeks, the symptoms hit me really hard. I had to wake up every morning and immediately get a little something to eat, just so that I wouldn't feel nauseous. And usually the nausea would hit me on my way to work. So it would be really bad. I have about a 20-minute drive to work. It would be really bad all the way to work. And some mornings, like for a little while after I got there. But I never got sick, and I would get waves of nausea throughout the day, but it really wasn't bad. the thing that hit me the hardest was the fatigue. I was so tired every day about 2 o'clock. I could not hardly keep my eyes open anymore. And then by the time I got home, I just couldn't do anything else. I would just have to lay on the couch and relax. And there were some nights that I fell asleep before 8 o'clock on the couch. And that's a whole different kind of tired. And there are still some days that I'll be really tired, but nothing was as bad as the first few weeks. I want to say from about middle of week 5 through about week 13 was when I had the morning sickness and the fatigue the worst. Like I said, I'm 22 weeks now, and second trimester has just been a breeze so far. As far as aversions or anything, chicken, I'm just now getting to the point where I can eat chicken. That was really, really hard. I really didn't eat hardly any chicken in the first trimester. I've had it some here and there, and like I said, I'm just now starting to be okay with chicken. And then also water, for whatever reason. That first trimester, I had the hardest time with water. I don't know what it was, like I would be super thirsty, but water would make me nauseous. So that was kind of hard to navigate around. I would just have to take little sips here and there and try to not get nauseous. But I don't really have that many aversions in the second trimester. I've been drinking a ton of water now, and like I said, I'm eating some chicken. I'm still not a fan of cooking the chicken, but I can eat it now. But really those are my main aversions that I've had. I will say some things that helped me through my first trimester were Sprite and just some crackers, just to have a few in the morning, and Jolly Ranchers. Anytime that I would feel nauseous or start to feel morning sickness, I would grab a Jolly Rancher immediately and try to fight that off and not think about it. I think that's the main thing. Try not to think about it and grab a piece of candy and see if that helps. I know that some women can't keep anything down, and I feel for you. I am so sorry, but I can't speak from experience on that. So those were the main symptoms that I've had so far. But yeah, so far this pregnancy has been pretty easy. I don't really have many complaints. Oh, another symptom that I had terrible headaches, like awful, terrible headaches. There were a few days that I had to leave work. They were so bad, I just couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. So headaches were really bad. About week 15 or 16, those kind of started leveling off, and I really don't have that many headaches anymore, but those were some pretty bad headaches because I'd have them from the time I woke up for days straight, and it was pretty bad. One symptom that I forgot to mention, and it's kind of funny because the symptom that I forgot is pregnancy brain. I have had pregnancy brain so bad. I had heard of it before, but I was not expecting it to be like this. There are some days that I'll think of something that I need to do, and then I'll turn to do it, and I completely forget what I was doing, or I forget what words I'm trying to use. So there are some days that it is just so frustrating. But yeah, I've had pregnancy brain pretty bad. And then one other thing that I wanted to touch on was how hard it is to be pregnant during this pandemic. We're in Florida, so we have a lot of cases right now. And because of that, my doctor is not allowing Will to come with me or anyone to come with me to appointments, and I know that he wants to be there and I want him to be there. I know that helps the dads bond with the babies more, so hopefully they lift those restrictions soon. the anatomy scan was hard for him to miss, because, you know, that's where they really take a good look, and it's an extra long ultrasound of the baby. And I found out the gender, well, they put it in an envelope, and we had a gender reveal a few days later, and I'll insert that video at the end so that you guys can see. But yeah, hopefully, if you're currently pregnant, hopefully you guys don't have the same restrictions, or if they do, I hope they lift them for you soon. I know that I want Will there, and I know he wants to be there. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you for taking the time to watch it. It really means so much to me. If you haven't already, please hit that little red subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.
'Cause I've always been told that things were make 'em better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby.